A mother of two goes on a run in Memphis, Tennessee, but tragically never returns.
I remember the night I got the phone call and I was told that we needed to get together and meet the police.
She was snatched and forced into an SUV. Her body was found days later near a vacant duplex. And now her alleged killer is set to go on trial.
We owe it to her, we owe it to the family, we owe it to victims of all crimes, especially innocent victims. And this is an important case. This is an important litigation here.
Eliza Fletcher, a kindergarten teacher and mother of two, was running on the University of Memphis campus in the early morning hours of September 2nd, 2022. Then she never made it back home. Investigators say she was forced into an SUV after a struggle. Security video from the scene showed a black GMC Terrain passing by and then waiting for the victim to run by. The video then reportedly showed a man exiting the car, running aggressively toward Eliza, and forced her into the passenger seat. Police would later track down their suspect thanks in part to DNA from the sandals found in the street near the site of Eliza's disappearance. Next to the pair of the Champion slide sandals that were recovered from the area was Eliza's cell phone. Investigators later matched the DNA of the sandals to a man named Cleotha Abston, who also used the name Cleotha Henderson. Investigators then obtained cell phone records to determine Abston's cell phone was near the site of where Eliza was forced into the car. Officers arrested Abston in early September of 2022 after they found the GMC Terrain with a matching license plate number in a parking lot by his home. While the murder suspect tried to flee, he was ultimately taken into custody. At the time, he was tight-lipped as to where Eliza was, so a massive police search ensued to look for the mother of two, which lasted several days. Investigators believe she suffered from serious injuries based on the violent nature of her abduction and the blood left in Abston's car.
I remember the night I got the phone call and I was told that we needed to get together and meet the police and everything in the morning. I think about 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. It was a shocking thing. And I remember sort of living the case for 4 or 5 days or however long it was, 24/7 until she was found.
Law enforcement would later make a tragic discovery. Eliza Fletcher would never return home to her family, as her body was discovered near an abandoned duplex when officers noticed the vehicle tracks next to the driveway with a strong stench and odor of decay. Purple running shorts similar to the ones Eliza was wearing were found in the discarded trash bag near the duplex. Eliza's autopsy would reveal a gruesome death. She had a gunshot wound in the back of her head and blunt force injuries to her right leg and jaw fractures. Eliza's murder shocked the Memphis community as much of the community rallied around her family, and local runners in Memphis and across several other cities held an early morning run in her honor after she was kidnapped. I spoke with Paul Hagerman, who is a part of the prosecution team who will be trying Abston's upcoming murder trial. He explains Eliza's murder left a hole in the community's heart.
The case is going on, so I really can't comment terribly much about it. Of course, there's facts that are well publicized. I think the reaction in Memphis was well publicized. People see a crime, a terrible crime against a totally innocent person. The city came together and it's remained in the public consciousness and everything since then.
This is another Law&Crime legal alert. Have you ever experienced severe gastroparesis or other side effects after taking Ozempic or another GLP-1 weight loss medication? The Ozempic lawsuits allege that the drug can lead to severe intestinal blockage and persistent vomiting, and that manufacturers allegedly failed to provide adequate warning about these risks. True Law, one of our legal sponsors, is helping those injured file a claim through an experienced attorney who helps ensure your claim is thoroughly presented. Visit www.glp1case.com/LC News to answer less than 10 questions and check your eligibility to file a claim. Earlier this year, defense attorneys for Abston argued he could not get a fair trial from Shelby County jurors due to intense media publicity surrounding Eliza's murder and a rape case that happened a year prior to Eliza's death. Shelby County Judge Lee Coffey would ultimately deny a change of venue motion filed by Abston's attorneys, but Hagerman says it's possible Abston's attorneys could file the motion again.
So I expect before the trial date that there will be several motions that are filed. I would expect a change of venue motion, but we will hear that, and We've argued one previously with regard to this defendant, and we'll argue this next one as well, and see what the ruling is.
Eliza's murder would bring to light her alleged killer's disturbing past. Henderson previously kidnapped a prominent Memphis attorney when he was 16 years old and spent 20 years for that crime. But after he was charged with killing Eliza, he was charged with raping a woman a year prior in September of 2021. According to authorities, he wasn't arrested on the rape charge before Eliza's death because evidence from a sexual assault kit test had not been available at the time. And the circumstances around the case were heinous. Abston raped a woman and held her at gunpoint. The victim said she met Abston on a dating site and agreed to meet him at his apartment. While there, he covered the woman's face with a t-shirt, walked her outside the apartment, and raped her in the back seat of his girlfriend's vehicle. The judge presiding over Abston's rape trial would later say he treated the victim with exceptional cruelty. He was convicted of rape and received 40 years for the aggravated rape charge, 20 years for the aggravated kidnapping charge, and another 20 years for being a felon in possession of a weapon. Judge Lee Coffey ordered the sentences run consecutively, meaning one after the other, for a total of 80 years in prison. Although the convicted rapist and alleged killer is currently serving a decades-long sentence, he's still facing the ultimate punishment in Eliza Fletcher's murder.
So we filed a notice to seek the death penalty a few months into the case. We do not take that lightly, and we do not do that routinely. Certain aggravating factors have to be present. It takes not just the attorney handling the case, but also the district attorney himself, and in consultations with the family and legal research and a lot of vetting and things like that. Is a decision that is entered in after a lot of deliberation and a lot of talk and a lot of consideration. The aggravating factors that we allege exist in this case, which include that the killing was heinous and atrocious and cruel. It includes that the killing happened during the course of another felony, and it includes things about Mr. Abston's background and prior criminal convictions.
It's been nearly 2 years since Eliza's murder. Hagerman says scheduling conflicts have delayed the upcoming trial.
The court schedule would accommodate an earlier trial, and mine would too, but there's a lot of moving factors. There's defense attorney schedules, there's witnesses schedules, there's potential expert schedules and things like that. So the February date may not be as early as we like, but it's a realistic date. Now we've got that date, and we're going to see it through.
But once the case goes to trial, he expects a swift and quick trial.
So it's not like you may see some trials in California or something like that that last for weeks and sometimes even months. Not here. We try murder cases here normally in about a week. This is a capital case, so maybe that adds 3 or 4 days to it. So I would expect 2 weeks at the most.
As Eliza Fletcher's family continues to seek justice, Hagerman explains his team is determined to see the case through for Eliza.
Yeah, this is a case that's going on, so it really would be improper for me to sort of comment on facts and stuff. Those things need to come out, before the jury, in a trial. We have a trial date now in February, and I'll say what I've said all along, and what the family has said all along is we're going to see this through to the very end. We owe it to her, we owe it to the family, we owe it to victims of all crimes, especially innocent victims. And this is an important case, and this is an important litigation here. They are determined to get justice for Eliza, and I do meet with them regularly, and it's a large family and a great family. They loved her, they still love her, and they want to see this to the end.
Cleotha Abston is slated to face trial on February 10th, 2025. And despite already serving an 80-year sentence for rape, if convicted for Eliza Fletcher's murder, Abston is still facing the death penalty. Reporting for Law and Crime, I'm Elizabeth Millner.